Hello, and welcome to another Nic Fit video. I'm David, and if you like Nic Fit content, please check out nicfitmtg.com. This time, we're on a Jund sacrifice-oriented list. User Koike on MTGO recently took a similar list to a 5.0, and I wanted to, and overall it has been actually putting up probably better performances than any other Nic Fit variant, maybe save like the Allurin combo variants. And I wanted to just talk through some of the lines in this one and some of the changes I made to Koike's list. So first of all, this is a Jund-based list. It uses Veteran Explorer. In addition to the usual Cabal therapy, it has Greater Gargadon as a second sack outlet. Gargadon has some nice features. It's uncounterable. Uncounterable, like, you can't counter the suspend aspect of it. You can obviously counter Gargadon when it becomes unsuspended. Gargadon plays some other nice roles. It combos with Titania. You can sacrifice a bunch of lands and put a bunch of 5/3s into play. It combos with Vivian. You can tick down Vivian's -2, sack some stuff to Greater Gargadon, trigger Vivian's -2, get, say, Terror of the Peaks, and then Gargadon comes into play and does 9 to something and then has haste, so that can be a big turn. So Gargadon features a couple roles there. It can also sack a bunch of lands and sack Ruination Rioter to maybe do something there. Gotta sort of watch out. You can get blown out by Endurance with this, but it's pretty cool. Ruination Rioter is another like card that is not typically a legacy card, so it was very cool to see Koike trying this one out. I sort of tried this list a couple times. It's a practice league to try to familiarize myself with it. And at first I sort of cut down to one Ruination Rioter. I figured with Green Sun Zenith, maybe that was enough. But Ruination Rioter was actually pretty decent, so I went back to the two that Koike was running. A few other sort of changes that I made to Koike's list. Koike had the Tybalt Valky combo card. I took that out. Not because I didn't think it was very good, I just sort of thought it was very expensive at the top end. I sort of didn't want to run it. Koike was running a couple opposition agents. I sort of subbed that for a Once Upon a Time package, which I actually think goes pretty good in the Gargadon list because you can trim a Gargadon. I think Koike had 4. I trimmed to 3. And with 4 Once Upon a Times, you can find a Veteran Explorer, you can find a Greater Gargadon, you can find Grist, you can find some other stuff. So it's pretty good. I like the Once Upon a Time package in the Gargadon list. So yeah, and I put in a Collector Ouphe because I sort of figured, if you run into like a fast combo deck like Oops or like Storm, there's just sort of, you can't outrace that deck even if you have a very fast start and maybe you're going to win on like turn 4 or 5. Like that's just too slow for those decks. So something like Collector Ouphe can help you survive. Cool. The sideboard, I changed a few things, but actually, I just wanted to talk through. Koike leaned very heavily on Magus of the Moon, not typically a Nic Fit card, but I actually tested it out, and it overperformed relative to sort of like what my expectations were. Part of that is because there's just a ton of Urza's Saga decks online. Magus of the Moon kills Urza's Saga, so if you play a Magus of the Moon and the opponent has Urza's Saga, the Saga just dies immediately, regardless of how many counters it has on it. So that was kind of interesting. It's also good against like lands decks and depth decks, which are sort of a weakness of Jund typically. In white, maybe you have Swords of Plowshares, or in blue, maybe you can put up some blockers or something, Ice Fang Codals or something to block Merit Lodge. In Jund, you typically don't have much, but Magus of the Moon can sort of preemptively shut those down. So it did okay. Like, so I think they were running, Koike was running 4. I dropped it to 3 because I have Once Upon a Time. I did add an Endurance package instead of Leyline of the Void. I really like Endurance. It gives you some outs against Doomsday and some other combo decks. Otherwise, I didn't make too many changes. I did add some Thoughtseizes again to just try to be better against combo decks. But otherwise, the list is very similar. I sort of tried to stick to the spirit of what Koike was doing with their list. So yeah, I say we hop into a league and see how it goes. In my test leagues, I'm going to hop into this league here. Let's see, Legacy League, play points, cool. In my test leagues that I ran to try to just familiarize myself with this, I'm not super familiar with these Gargadon lists, so I wanted to practice a little bit before I just before I just dove into like a video here. In my tests, it did pretty well. I think I had two 3/2s and a 4/1, which is it's pretty good. The deck felt pretty strong. It is a little bit weak to Ragavan. I think that's what sort of the lightning bolts were for. All right, on the play, we'll see. And this hand is not stellar, but it's okay. I'm sort of like relying heavily on this Once Upon a Time. It's a 4-lander. It does have a lightning bolt in case they have a really fast start. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm probably going to lead on Once Upon a Time and see if maybe I can get a Veteran Explorer on turn 1. I think that's probably my play here. So I am going to keep this. It's not an amazing hand, but if I look at this, like this is a 6 that I would absolutely keep. So I think that's why I'm going to keep it here. Cool. So I'm going to lead on once, and we'll see what I hit. I'm hoping to get a Gargadon or maybe a Veteran Explorer. That's a miss. And I already have both of these lands, so that's not amazing. But I'm going to grab the Taiga, because that way I have a backup in case I get wastelanded. And if they play something like, if they play a Ragavan, I might play around Days and bolt it on my turn. Cool. So let's see what I'm up against here. So that was kind of a miss, kind of unfortunate, because now I have no threats. It's sort of a little bit of a weak hand, but okay. Dragon Rage Channeler's fine. I probably will bolt that. All right. I mean, there's not much I can do here. Okay, they flip an Expressive Iteration. That's surprising. Probably be a card I keep on top. So I think I'm going to bolt this here. I guess my opponent can look at my top card. That's fine. I'm going to bolt it here, not playing around Days, just because I want a Cabal Therapy on my turn. If they Daze me, like, I think that's okay. Okay. So just you got to stop the sort of card filtering that they get from that. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. Okay, so that is a pretty good card here. So just from a sequencing standpoint, I'm going to play the fetch land, play the Veteran Explorer to play around Days, then fetch and Cabal Therapy. And then we'll see if I flash back. All right. I'm sort of a little hesitant to flash back, to be 100% honest. And I'm going to just go ahead and fetch a duel here. I'm not worried about losing it at all, because I have Veteran Explorer. So one of the cards, I guess this looks a lot like a Delver matchup. It's a little bit different because it's got Mishra's Bauble going. So I could name Delver of Secrets, but some of the lists are actually like the Delverless Delver. I might name Murktide Regent, which I probably am worried about more. Yeah, because there's or I can name Force of Will, but I think I'm going to name Murktide Regent. I think Murktide Regent or Brainstorm are probably the two best names here. If I intend to flash back, you want to name Brainstorm, because then they can't, when they fetch basics, if I sacrifice Veteran Explorer. So I talked myself into naming Brainstorm. You want to Brainstorm first, because then if they fetch basics, they can Brainstorm, and then you don't get a guaranteed hit on the flashback. So I'm going to open with Brainstorm. They have a Delver, which is not a big deal. So I can play the Cabal Therapy into Days, which is probably okay. That's probably okay. So I might actually do that. And if I hit here, I will name Delver of Secrets. Well, they're not gonna let me do that, or they're not gonna force me to play around Days. So I'm gonna fetch Forest Swamp, and I think I'll just name Delver. So they do have basics. I'm going to name Delver here just to take a threat away. So this is kind of an unfortunate situation. I have a handful of land here, and not a lot going on. This can sometimes happen in this deck, but the nice thing is that all my top decks are probably pretty good. There's some misses, but not a lot. It's kind of a problem sometimes in these really fast matchups. I sort of wouldn't mind my opponent wastelanding me, you know, sort of trade their resources for mine. I have a lot of lands. They don't know that, of course, but and the Daze is kind of dead, so they need to get something too. All right, well, they got a Delver. That's fine. And they pondered to set it up, so that's a thing. I could trophy it. I don't hate that. I might set an upkeep stop and do it there. You know, plays around Force of Negation, which probably doesn't matter, but or rather doesn't play around Force of Negation because they'll be able to cast it. But I think it's okay. I'll get a little bit more information if I see the flip. So they flip an Unholy Heat, and here, actually, you know, I might make them draw the Unholy Heat. They can choose to do whatever they want, I think. So I'm just going to Assassin's Trophy it here. It's kind of unfortunate to waste an Assassin's Trophy, or not waste, I mean, it's a pretty good use, but Assassin's Trophy is one of my few hits on Murktide Regent. And Murktide Regent can be a real problem in this matchup. So my opponent played their Wasteland. Murktide can just turn the tide, you know, real quick. It can just end the game in a couple turns. And I think my opponent now has Unholy Heat online because they have Artifact, Sorcery, Creature, and Land. Yep, they sure do. So I'm going to play out the Taiga, and I'm going to just lead on the Ruination Rioter. I don't really care if they kill it, you know. It's going to hit them for 2. If they use an Unholy Heat on that, that's fine. They're sort of reading the card, obviously, because this is not a common card that people see in leagues. When I saw this on Koike's list, I absolutely did not know what this card did. Was not familiar. It came out in Modern Horizons 1, so it's been out a while. But I had never... I'd never paid attention to this card. Like, I never seen it in the league, and it didn't sort of make an impact on me from the spoiler season. But it sort of forces them to use the heat, or it just starts beating down. Works for me. Alright, so not a lot going on here. Dryad Arbor is not the best of hits. Alright, I'm going to play it. Dryad Arbor is more likely to die than most of my other lands, so I think having it here, you know, in order to make Ruination Rioter do 1 more damage is fine. That could kill, let's see, they hit the Rioter, so I'll just ping them for 2. I was just making sure I have my exile zone, because if I have Gargadon, you can do some things like sacrifice all your lands to that. That's not something I'm going to do right now, because I need these lands. But you get the picture. If that was a lethal, like if that could have been lethal, you can sack all your lands to Gargadon right before Ruination Rioter goes to the graveyard, and get get 8 damage in instead of 2, right? All right, that's not good, but it could be worse. So I'm just going to play this. I have no attacks because they have a 3/3. But, you know, soon we're going to be trading 3 damage for 2, which is not stellar, but, you know, it's okay. The problem probably with Dragon Rage Channeler is my opponent is going to start setting up their top decks, which is pretty strong. That's kind of unfortunate. Dragon Rage Channeler, you know, the like surveil aspect of it is deceptively stronger than you might expect. So I'm going to attack and play another Veteran Explorer. At least then we're trading even. Although that is not a battle I expect to win generally. I'm holding the forest in my hand for not really any real reason other than I think it's better to have some hidden information than nothing. You know, playing out this forest doesn't do anything. You know, yeah. So this is not a race that that's actually a pretty good draw. But I'm gonna get my beats in first and see what my opponent does here. There's almost certainly nothing that they have going on, but they could have, like, in response to the attack. But you know, this plays right into Force of Will or Force of Negation. Doesn't play into Daze because I have mana, although we don't know what cards they actually have in their hand. They did Brainstorm since I last saw things, but they can hard cast Force here rather than trading 2 for 1. Okay, well, I mean, if it resolves, that's pretty good for me. Because right now we're trading life for life, and if I can get a Sylvan Library online, even just to set my top decks, even if I don't get any card advantage from it, it's pretty good. This deck doesn't really have any way to gain life. So my opponent is required to attack. They cannot block. So they can't stay back to block. They have to attack. But you know, Delver is a very dense deck in terms of threats. I'm actually surprised they didn't dash that. It seems like it would be really good to just dash that. I wonder if they just sort of think I have something, which I don't. Gargadon doesn't do anything here. Sarkhan Vol, actually, oh man, a bunch of these are good. I'm very hesitant to... Okay. I have a couple options here. Sarkhan Vol is okay. It will race the opponent really fast. You know, because I would attack for 6 this turn, or I could say take the Dragon Rage Channeler. But I might just use it to set my top decks. The Field of the Dead will put a 2/2 into play next turn. So that's pretty good. I'll leave a Veteran Explorer back to block, because that way, you know, if they kill it or something, I'll get the 2/2s and not let Ragavan take a hit. The other option is I could Gargadon and Field of the Dead. It puts me in a lot of danger, but I can just sacrifice both Veteran Explorers and put 8 power on the board with Field of the Dead. But I die to double bolt. Unholy Heat cannot do players, notably. It can hit Planeswalkers, so Sarkhan is probably not good here. I'm going to put Sarkhan back for sure, and the question is, do I keep the Gargadon or leave it? Because I'll die to double bolt if I take this card. Actually, I die to a single bolt, because I'll take 4, take 3, and then I'll die to a bolt. I don't think I can do that. I think I have to put the Gargadon on top. So I'll play the field. I now regret not... I regret now not playing that forest earlier, but that's okay. So here, I attack. Okay, my opponent's going to block, which is... that's fine for me. I probably should have attacked with both Veteran Explorers and left that back on defense. Nah, I think that's okay. So I don't have any way to sacrifice it. So now I take 3. I die... I don't die to double bolt here. I guess we'll see what my opponent has. If they have just Murktide Regent, I don't think there's... I think I'm dead. Okay, well, this is actually okay. So I'm almost certainly taking the Gargadon. Terror of the Peaks is pretty good, but I think Terror of the Peaks just plays into Force. I think here you take the Gargadon and you just threaten to kill the opponent next turn. I have 4 more basics in my deck, so I think that's the plan here. Just take the Gargadon. And then basically I can sacrifice those at the end of my opponent's turn, assuming I live that long. Yep. So what I don't want to see here from my opponent is a wasteland. Although I can, let's see, my opponent is hitting me, hoping to surveil into another one. That's the hope for my opponent. So they've flipped a Ragavan, which is fine. So I die to a bolt here. Oh, they have it. All right, so that's just game. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this is real unfortunate. So they got it. Oh, they had triple bolt. I mean, I guess when you have it, you have it. They did sculpt their hand quite a bit, so I'm not surprised. I stumbled quite a bit. Okay, so what do I want against Blue-Red Delver? Yeah, let's see here. So the endurances are pretty good. The deeds are pretty good, or deed rather, singular, is pretty good, and Red Blast is pretty good. It can kill a Delver. It's another thing that can hit a Murktide. The Veils are not that good, and because they have basics, I don't think Magus is very good. Sarkhan Vol, it's a little slow in this matchup. I want to keep these because these sort of like win the game. So I don't really want to cut these, but I can cut Sarkhan. Sarkhan, he he can win the game sometimes, but I don't think he's not that great in this matchup. So I'm gonna trim that, and my life total is gonna be under a little bit of pressure. I'm gonna trim one Sylvan Library, but keep one probably. So that gets these, which I absolutely want. And then the question is, what do I want for these red blasts? And I'm not quite sure. Ruination Rioter I think is okay. It's not amazing. I'm definitely keeping the bolts because that's sort of my out to Ragavan. It might be something like Plague Engineer, which is okay but not stellar in this matchup, or it might even be Terror of the Peaks, which I like, but you know it's a 5 mana threat that just dies to, I don't know. I mean it is a good card, but yeah. The other option is maybe it's something like Questing Beast. Questing Beast is not that great in this matchup. You know, all of the opponent's creatures have flying except for Ragavan. So maybe it's something like Questing Beast. And then like one other card. It's probably something at the top end just to try to survive a little bit. I like Scavenging Ooze in this matchup. It can randomly like shrink a Dragon Rage Channeler or make it harder to cast a Murktide. So I kind of like that. I'm keeping the Cabal Therapies. So it's probably something like Plague Engineer or Terror of the Peaks. I'm keeping Grist as an out to Murktide. Vivian is really good, just cranks out blockers every turn. Yeah, it's probably something like Terror of the Peaks. It's a good card, but it's just hard to survive. Like keeping a 5-drop in is hard. So that's probably what I'm playing. This matchup I have found is challenging for this deck. This hand is okay. It's a little light on mana, but it's got a Gargadon. It's got a Bolt in case they Ragavan. It can Green Sun out a Veteran Explorer. So like you can suspend Gargadon, turn 2, get Veteran Explorer. I think this is a keep. It's just a risky one, especially with no basics. It's risky, but I think it's a good card, or it's a good hand. So I'm gonna just open with suspending Gargadon. And we'll see how it goes. That endurance can be a huge blowout in this matchup. You know, you can sort of shrink a Dragon Rage Channeler and then block it or something. You know, you can just play it into something and block. So it's pretty good. Okay, so my opponent's got a Dragon Rage Channeler. The card's really good. I still probably fear it less than Ragavan. Ragavan's just brutal. So it sort of depends. If I draw a land here, I might... Okay, so that sort of makes me a little bit like wanting to play this around Daze. So what I might do here is Bolt the Dragon Rage Channeler, and even though they can get a little bit of value, I want to avoid... even though they can get a little bit of value by putting things into their graveyard, I want to avoid them like dashing a Ragavan. So I'm gonna play it not even during their upkeep. I'll play it at the beginning of combat. All right, so right here I'm just gonna bolt it. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna save the Abrupt Decay for when I can't play around Daze. So that was good. My opponent got no value out of that card, and they couldn't dash a Ragavan. Delver's fine. I don't even care. I mean, Delver's still a threat, but it's not the worst thing in the world for me. So my plan here, I'm gonna probably fetch out the Gargadon, or fetch out a Veteran Explorer. So I'm gonna cast like this, and that way I can use this for green or black and fetch like I can fetch like Swamp Mountain to have all my colors in basics, and then use the swamp and this to cast Abrupt Decay, or I could cast Endurance into Daze, which I probably won't. But this forces them to use a hard counter instead of a soft counter. I'm trying to play around Daze as much as possible. So I'm going to just pass here. But my plan, I could save the 3 damage, sack the Veteran Explorer right here, and then Abrupt Decay if I need to, but already Veteran Explorer is going to hold the ground against the Delver, so I think this is fine. You just sit here. They could have a Stifle, but, I think it's okay. I have another Green Sun if they do. Expressive Iteration is unfortunate for me. Let's see what they exile. Expressive Iteration is just a really good card for this deck. It's almost always a 2-for-1 for 2 mana. Ragavan. Alright. Oh, are they going to miss on lands? If they miss on lands... Oh, okay. Well, they don't draw this turn from that thing. Oh, man. I would consider not blocking. Okay, so the Ragavan just is going to stay in exile. So I'm not gonna sack the Veteran Explorer. I can do that on my turn if I want to. So they got just a 1-for-1. They got some card selection, but they got just a 1-for-1 with that thing. Okay, so I think my thought process here, like I can play. Yeah, I probably just want to attack with the Veteran Explorer, sacrifice it, and then play Endurance on my turn to just shrink their graveyard. That's going to be my plan. Just play it. Yeah, just play it on my turn. Shrink the graveyard. Force them to have a hard counter. Cool. That's my plan. Yeah, and I might actually, since I have 2 black sources, I might go for a red source, because I guess Terror of the Peaks is out. So maybe having double red isn't as important. Maybe I will go Swamp and Forest, because I want to leave up my Abrupt Decay for sure. That's sort of part of my plan. But I know that they get 2 basics here, but I want to play the Endurance probably right here. It plays it into Daze, which is fine because I have plenty of mana, but I want to play it just to shrink their graveyard. I like getting hit by a Murktide if they, ponder, brainstorm, land, Murktide. Like, that's just disastrous. So let's tap like this. Leave the non-basics up. And we'll see what they do. They might have a hard counter here. Yeah. So they did hard counter, pitching Delver. I think this is okay. I'll play one next turn, and I hope that they don't Murktide right away. If they do, I do have some outs to it. I can Abrupt Decay the Delver, and then, okay, so they have Expressive Iteration, which is pretty good. I do have outs if they use these 2 to Murktide, though. It's not stellar, but I can use the Green Sun for Grist. Not this turn, but the next turn. I'm probably going to Abrupt Decay this Delver, depending on what they do. So this Delver is not from the Expressive Iteration. That was exiled to Force of Will. So we'll see what they exile. They get to keep a card as well. And then, if it's something like Murktide, we know what's going on. I guess so Murktide would be a 2 instance. So it would only be a 5/5, which is still big. Oh, I guess 6/6 with that thing. Okay, that's unfortunate. the wasteland, that is. Okay, so I might actually hit the Ragavan here. I think that's probably the bigger risk. So here we hit Ragavan, green, black, because I don't want to take that hit. I have the endurance to block the Delver. Alright. So I have, let's see, I don't care about that. Okay, field is pretty good. I'm debating hiding it from the wasteland. I don't know. But I think the answer here is I can play the endurance on their turn as a combat trick, or I can play it now. I think I play it now because they just probably have a Murktide. I think it's just too risky. And this time I'm going to tap intelligently. And even though I don't have anything to play off of this, I'm representing that I do. So this just sort of shrinks their graveyard, puts up a 3/4 reach. Like, they don't... Okay, they kill it here for 6 damage. I don't have anything I can do to that. And then they get the Unholy Heat into their graveyard, which is fine. Oh, you know what? That was a misplay. I should have sacrificed it to Greater Gargadon. That's a mistake, but not the most costly of mistakes. But it is not the best. I could have had this thing on 4 time counters instead of 3, or instead of 5. So nothing I'm doing here. If my opponent wastelands, I will sack it to Gargadon and be smart this time. Scooze is pretty decent, actually. Scooze is pretty decent. I'm going to look really quick at what my... So Questing Beast is out. I do have more Endurances in. So the answer might be Green Sun for another Endurance, which I think would be pretty good. Save the Scavenging Ooze. Because Endurance will just hold them off. It'll just hold them off. I have 2 Endurances in the graveyard, but I'm pretty sure I have 3 Endurances in. Yes, I do. So I can Green Sun for the other Endurance. It plays into Double Days, but I think that's okay. Cool. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to just play into Double Days with a Green Sun for 3 for Endurance. Cool. So getting Grist here doesn't do anything, so I think Endurance is the play. And the question is, do I want my things back? I think I do. I think I want my Endurances back in case I have to Green Sun for them again. I can't eat them now with Scooze, but I think mostly I want to use Scooze to keep my opponent's graveyard really small. Because eventually, I'm just going to have a Gargadon. And what are they going to do about that, Okay. Bolting Endurance. That's fine. He takes 3. My opponent gets to flip some stuff. There's the Murktide. Okay. So my opponent certainly has a second bolt here. Alright, so I'm going to let the Dragon Rage Channeler resolve, and then I will sacrifice it to Gargadon. Okay, but they kept that one, so I sack it here, and that's okay. Okay. So now I still have 2 Endurances back in the deck, so that's why I did that. And the Scavenging Ooze can eat their Murktide, which I think is pretty important. And a 9/7 with haste will turn the clock. Like, that'll turn things around pretty quickly, Like, my opponent has to respect that. Although if they just, Murktide as a 6/6 here, I'm kind of not happy about that. So nothing I can do about this. I go to 10. Let's see what my opponent does. They can just Murktide, which I don't... That's probably what I don't want to see the most of anything. Okay, there it is. That's unfortunate. So my opponent is representing lethal here. I can gain 2 life off of the Scavenging Ooze, which is, I guess, something. I think I have to get the Gargadon going this turn. Just, I think I have to, because I basically have to represent lethal next turn. So I think I'm going to cast the Skoos first, and we'll go from there. And then I can eat the 2 things, sacrifice some guys to Gargadon, and yeah, we'll go from that. So here, I'm going to just eat these now, because my opponent can't do anything about it. And I'm going to probably sack some of these lands. So that takes me out of immediate death range. I got to make sure, because this pumps it up anytime an instant or sorcerer leaves their graveyard, so I can't just randomly eat things. So I'm going to sack the Wooded Foothills, I think, and like, I don't know, probably the Bayou. And just cast the Greater Gargadon, and yeah, I'm going to play around days by keeping the Badland. So my opponent cannot force this because they only have 1 card, and it has haste, and I'm going to attack. They will obviously not chump with the Murktide, but like, you know, got to put a little bit of fear into my opponent, because if they, wow, all right, I mean that's almost certainly game. Must be nice. All right, so I draw a Gargadon next turn and die. Like, yeah, this is unfortunate. They got me. That's a tough one. Yeah, this matchup's pretty tough. Submerge is just, it's real good. Murktide's real good. I don't have anything to do there, so I think I'm just dead. There's nothing I can do, so I'm gonna just concede. Get on to game. Get on to the next round. That was unfortunate. Yeah, that matchup's hard. Oh well. But you can sort of see the endurances they were pretty useful in that one. You got to really keep down the size of their graveyard. I'm not sure like anything would have helped that much. You know, I'm thinking of like some of the card. I mean, something like a Ruination Rioter can sometimes be good there with Gargadon. You can sacrifice it, maybe have a couple fetch lands in the graveyard, maybe kill a Murktide. But yeah, I mean, they just had 1 card in their hand, and it was the best one, you know. Because if they didn't have that, if they have something like a Daze that's dead, you have a lot of options. You know, you attack for 7, they have to leave back a blocker, which, yeah, I mean, you know, suddenly you're racing them, and if you draw something like a Lightning Bolt or an Abrupt Decay to kill their blocker, like, they're in big trouble. So, yeah, tough matchup. Good on my opponent, playing a real good deck. You know, Blue-Red Delver right now is probably the best deck in the format. There's a couple other real good decks. I think the Ragavan and the Urza's Saga deck, that Standstill, Urza's Saga, Ragavan, just play all the new good cards. I guess Standstill's not new. That deck's real good. And I do think some of the like Bant Miracles or Jeskai Miracles, both of those are real good. But yeah, Delver's good. I wouldn't say, like, you know, historically Nic Fit had a real good Delver matchup, and I sort of don't think that that's the case anymore. That hasn't it wasn't the case during the Oko meta, and then right after the Oko meta, when they were playing Sprite Dragon and Ethereal Forager and stuff like that, I actually thought that matchup was pretty favorable to Nic Fit, but I think that's sort of no longer the case. Alright, so I have a 2-lander. It's got double Cabal Therapy. I mean, this is a keep. I'm on the draw. I have a Lightning Bolt in case they Ragavan. I have a Green Sun Zenith to follow up my Cabal Therapy. This hand looks great. I'm going to keep it. Alright, Scalding Tarn could be anything, but we'll see what they got. Let's see if they open with a Ragavan. If they open with Ragavan, okay, so this is looking a lot like Delver again, but we're not quite sure what variety it is, so we'll see what they got. Cool. So the problem here, I guess, is if I play the Cabal Therapy on turn 1, I can't play the, or if they wasteland me, like I don't have another land. So that's kind of a problem. I think I just sort of have to play into it though, because, without it, like I need to get a fast start. I'm going to be playing the Green Sun into Daze. I got to make sure I take some of their counter magic. So I'm going to Cabal Therapy and try to hit a Force of Will or something like that. Because I think otherwise I'm playing this Green Sun into Daze or Force, and I can just lose from that. So I'm going to name Force of Will, and I will not play the Green Sun into Daze. So if they have Daze, which they do, but I did hit a Force, so that's good. They don't have a Wasteland, so that's real good. Let's see what they hit here. So they do have a Daze, so I'm definitely not playing Green Sun into Daze. Alright, so they preordain. They're trying to hit their second land drop here, which is fine by me. This one looks like blue-red again, but it has Sprite Dragon. I feel that this is a better matchup, although that was my most feared card there. Yeah. Karakas is decent, actually, because I need the land. So I can either bolt this, or I can Cabal Therapy them again and hit Daze, which seems okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have to get a Bayou again, which sucks. But, or I can fetch basics, but then I have no play this turn. And then I can't Green Sun into Daze next turn, because that would just be a waste. So I think the answer here is you Cabal Therapy, you try to hit the Daze, and then you try to resolve Green Sun Zenith next turn. So I'm going to get another Bayou, and just Cabal Therapy, and I'm hitting that Daze, because the Daze is a problem for me. Sprite Dragon I'm wary of it, but it's not the end of the world. They're thinking about dazing it, but they didn't. I mean, it doesn't do much. Like that's what I'm hoping to hit anyway. So I'm gonna hit the Daze. Okay. So I just gotta dodge some of their creatures, and I'll be all right. Looks like they hit something. They hit the land. All right. So if they played Young Peasy here, I probably have a good. I guess it depends on what they play. Okay, Sprite Dragon's fine. I'm not worried about Sprite Dragon at all. So I'm going to Green Sun. I'm going to get some mana. I'm going to get the lightning. I'm going to Lightning Bolt the Sprite Dragon because I can't let that thing get online. And I'll probably flash back and hit the Young Pyromancer. So that's my plan, because young Pyromancer is what I'm worried about. Cool. I'm going to save up the Verdant Catacombs and just play the Karakas. Karakas doesn't really do anything in this matchup. And, I know that they don't have Daze, so cool. Let's get it. Veteran Explorer. We're doing the thing. And they don't have any instants, so they can't, make the Sprite Dragon bigger. So I'm going to get red, and I'm going to get a basic forest, because I can get a basic swamp with this thing. So I got a mountain, and I'll get the forest. And then I'm going to bolt on my turn. I'm going to bolt the Sprite Dragon on my turn. And I'll name Young Pyromancer with the Cabal Therapy. I'm not too worried about racing, especially since I have Scavenging Ooze and a bunch of creatures to eat. So I'll name the Young Pyromancer. That's a good hit. And then on my turn, bolt the Sprite Dragon, which can get out of hand pretty quickly. So here I'm in pretty good shape here. I mean, they do have a Chain Lightning, but I have 3 creatures to eat in the graveyard to get out of Chain Lightning range, although I would need to fetch like a Taiga or something with this. Yeah, I don't know. It's an option. I don't hate it. Wasteland, that's unfortunate. But it's not the worst. Hitting the Karakas. I wonder if they think I have something, because I don't. So that's okay. That's probably the land I was cared the least about them hitting. So we know what they have. They have Chain Lightning. Vivian Monster's Advocate is pretty good if I can get one more land. But I think what I really want to do here is just play the Scavenging Ooze and eat 2 creatures. I'll eat the Sprite Dragon and the Young Pyromancer. And I'll just fetch a non-basic here, and that's fine. Chain Lightning is a sorcery, so not too worried about it. And I'm gonna get a Taiga because I need triple green here on this turn. Because I wanna get out of Chain Lightning range. So we'll eat the Sprite Dragon, and we'll eat the Young Pyromancer. And I'll pass the turn. And I'm in pretty good shape here, I would say. We'll see what my opponent flips to the Delver, if anything. Ponder, alright. That's fine. I'm going to just 6 here to save time. They can get double bolt, but then that sort of exhausts their everything. So that's, you know, if I trade it for double bolt, like, that's fine, you know. I am worried about Murktide, so I do have to start, you know, taking some bites out of their graveyard, but that's okay. Okay, so do I want to play the Vivian Monster's Advocate into Daze? You know, that's actually a good question. It's a risk. I think that there's no way they kept Daze on the Ponder. They chose to shuffle, so they have a random card. It could be a Daze. It's pretty unlikely. So I might just play it into the Daze and try to resolve Vivian Monster's Advocate as soon as possible. This thing just will take over the game, absolutely. So we'll attack with the Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze is good because it can also like turn down Deathrite Shaman. Or not Deathrite Shaman. Dragon Rage Channeler. Same thing. Cool. I'm going to fetch the basic Swamp this time, and I will play the Vivian. So I'm playing it into Daze. Hope they don't have it, and I'm going to tick up immediately. And I'll get a Vigilance counter. Or not a Vigilance counter, rather a Reach counter. So my opponent's in a bit of trouble here. But, you know, if they can get a Murktide online this turn, I'm in a bit of trouble. So I'll get the Reach counter, and I'm just going to pass. Cabal Therapy is not the best draw, but if they don't Chain Lightning, it's better than nothing. I guess they can Chain Lightning the Beast and then hit Vivian, take Vivian to 1. It's okay, but, you know, you're trading a Chain Lightning for a token, and Vivian's just going to tick up next turn. Alright. Okay. That's good. Yeah, Vivian takes over this matchup if she can if she can get online. So I think I'm boarding basically the same as last time. Red Elemental Blast is even better in this matchup. I'm sure they have Murktides, but with Sprite Dragons, that's pretty good. And I actually don't mind Plague Engineer. Like, against Sprite Dragon, Plague Engineer is a little better because you can sometimes, like, you can play a Plague Engineer preemptively, and then they can't cast the Sprite Dragon. They have to bolt the Plague Engineer first. So it's okay. It's also good against Young Pyromancer. So I actually want the Plague Engineer here for sure. Again, I'm sort of cutting Sarkhan. I'm cutting Collector Ouphe. I think that they had... Did they have that, whatever, the Mishra's Bauble? Or was that the other matchup? It doesn't really matter. I'm still cutting the Collector Ouphe for sure. They do have basics, but that's okay. Ruination Rioter, I think, is pretty good. It holds the ground against Young Pyromancer. They're again pressuring my life total, so I'll trim a Sylvan Library. I definitely want the Endurances. I think I can cut Terror of the Peaks. I think it's just too slow in this matchup. This card's good. I think Questing Beast. Questing Beast is okay because it's good against Young Pyromancer. I mean, It can help you race them, but I don't know if I'm racing Young Pyromancer. Like, I don't think I'm winning that race ever. Pernicious Deed again is good against Young Pyromancer, so I think I will take the Plague Engineer. Actually, I guess all of this just goes over here. But I definitely want these Red Blasts, and I'm not cutting the Lightning Bolts. So what am I cutting here if I'm not cutting that? It probably is Questing Beast. You know, I think any time this game goes long and isn't, you know, if we get into a board stall, I'm probably winning that. I don't think I need Questing Beast. I think with Titania and Vivian. Titania I want is just a Green Sun outlet, and Vivian makes blockers every turn, so I think that's pretty good. It might be Grist. No, because they got Murktides. I don't really know what to cut. It might just be the second Sylvan. It probably is, especially on the draw. On the draw, I'm a little more worried about them just rushing me out. So I think this is good. I'm gonna run this. So this is again blue-red Delver. Okay. This hand is a dangerous hand against Delver. But I think I have to keep it. My opponent has mulliganed. I think I have to keep this. You know, you can just like get Ragavand and lose. But yeah, I think I have to keep this. It's it's a dicey hand. Like you can lose with this hand. It's got no removal. But it's going to make all my land drops for a while. It has relevant creatures in the matchup. Cabal Therapy's good. So I'm gonna keep it and hope for the best. No Ragavan. Oh, Ponder's great. Okay, so what do I name with Cabal Therapy here? You know, I don't have a Veteran Explorer to flashback, so I'm probably gonna name a Threat or a Lightning Bolt just to save my Scavenging Ooze. Oh, that's a nice draw actually. So I'm gonna open actually with the Once Upon a Time, because if they daze that, I don't care. Like that's fine. Like if they daze this, I'm okay with that. Veteran Explorer is a very good draw. That's a very good draw. So I'm gonna take the vet, and I'm not gonna open with it. I'm gonna open with Cabal Therapy, and play the vet around daze. So I'm gonna fetch a basic swamp here and just hit him with Cabal Therapy, and I'll probably name. So Lightning Bolt was good, but now that I'm playing Veteran Explorer, maybe it's not as relevant. Okay, that's fine. So I don't care. Probably better for them to daze the Once Upon a Time than the Cabal Therapy, because they know I have Veteran Explorer. I'm flashing it back next turn. Delver's fine. So I'm going to play the basic to, again, just dodge bullets. And we'll see what they got. We'll see what they got. I can grab sort of double forest here. I don't know if I really want to do that. It's not the worst, actually. I could grab 2 forests and then play, like, Endurance. You know, especially if they don't have days. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Although I might actually, because I have the mountain here, I might actually just grab 2 forests. It's also good with the Scavenging Ooze. I could fetch another, like, Taiga or something with that. Cool. So I'm going to do that. And I can make the decision on whether to play the Scavenging Ooze or the Endurance, based on whether they have another daze. So I'm going to grab 2 forests so I can play the Endurance, or I can grab Scavenging Ooze and, you know, I don't know, eat something. So what do I name here is a good question. Force of Will is a pretty good name. Lightning Bolt is an okay name, because Lightning Bolt sort of plays into, you know, it'll help Endurance survive. My opponent only has 2 instants, so Murktide's probably not that good. Force of Will would be okay, but I think because they didn't brainstorm, I would assume they would brainstorm. I might name Sprite Dragon, which is probably a 4 of in this list. I'm guessing. I probably am more worried about Murktide. I don't know. This is a hard one. I might just name. Actually, Young Pyromancer is also a worry. because, you know, if they just play Young Pyromancer and cantrip a couple times, I'm in trouble. I'm going to name Lightning Bolt, actually. We'll see what they have here. Actually, I'm going to name Sprite Dragon. Well, I got a hit. Would have hit with Lightning Bolt as well. So that's okay. So I can play the Endurance not around Daze, which I think I might do. And if the Endurance like eats a Bolt and trades with the Delver, like that's okay. I think that's fine. Especially then I have a lot of food for the Ooze. Okay, so they can double bolt the Endurance, but I think that's okay. So I'm going to cast it. And I don't know. I guess we'll see what they do, but I will probably target them even though it removes some of the Ooze fuel. I think it's still okay because if they're the Endurance is not surviving this turn. They're going to either double bolt it or bolt and trade the Delver. They're thinking about which one to do. But these are their 4 cards, so they're either losing the Delver or they're losing 2 bolts. Okay. So you bolting it or you... Okay, so they're going to double bolt it. That's fine with me. And then, so the Ooze, I can play the Ooze and then eat my 2 creatures. And then I will outrace them at that race. Alright. So my opponent kept their land in their hand. That's a very good draw. That's a very good draw. I like that. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Bayou, and I'll play the Scooze, and I'm just gonna immediately just start eating. I think that's better than holding up Abrupt Decay. So I'm gonna just immediately eat the Endurance, and I'll immediately eat the Veteran Explorer. And that sort of takes me out of Chain Lightning range. And then I have mana up to... actually, you know what? I'm going to eat the Lightning Bolt here too. And this Abrupt Decay is a great draw because that can kill the Delver, fuel the Scooze, and it can take out a Young Peasy. Speak of the devil. So they can Chain Lightning me. Yeah, so that's fine with me. I don't really care. So this is a race that I will win, I think. I'm pretty sure I win this race. So I'm going to just play the Verdant, and just wanted to check my exile. Yeah, okay. So I think here you Abrupt Decay the Young Pyromancer because that can take over the game, produces a stream of blockers, and I'll just swing in for 5. So we'll go Forest, Swamp. Cool. Eat 'em. Swing in for 5. And depending on what they do with the Elemental, like I don't know whether they're going to block or... Okay, so they're not. They're trying to race me. I will probably fetch out a Dryad Arbor with this. It doesn't save the damage, but it fuels the Scooze. It doesn't... Yeah. Alright, so we'll fetch out here. Get the Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor trades with Elemental. And I'm going to actually set an end of combat stop here. And I'm going to immediately just eat the Lightning Bolt. And, I mean, I guess I'll eat the Dryad Arbor too. Yeah, I'll just eat it right now. So they don't have the Chain Lightning anymore. So they have a Scalding Tarn and something else. Okay, I mean, this is looking good. I think this is a race I think I win. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's okay. So we'll play it like this. Plague Engineer, I'm going to name Human, because that stops Young Pyromancer, it shrinks the Delver, and it, yeah, it's just good. So I have lethal next turn against my opponent if they don't have anything. And I'm just keeping their graveyard as small as possible. I want any Dragon Rage Channeler who would die to Plague Engineer, I want that to be a miss. Alright, Chain Lightning, that's fine. I have no effects. But now they can play like a Dragon Rage Channeler. They did it before combat to get in the extra damage. We'll see what they do here. They need a blocker. That's a blocker, I guess. So we'll eat the Plague Engineer. And I'm going to just eat the Chain Lightning here. I guess they could have, like, flip a Bolt and then kill me. Go to 1. Gargadon doesn't do it. And there's no way for me to, like, get this into the graveyard. So I think I just swing and suspend the Gargadon. Okay, my opponent is... If they have a Bolt, they probably get me here. And there's nothing I can fetch with the land. Like, nothing relevant here. So I think the answer is suspend Gargadon, keep the land in my hand. I mean, it's going to be a tight race, I think. And there's no way to... Yeah, I've just suspended. I'm very far from casting it. It takes 10, and I have 6. So if they flip a Bolt here, that's good. They did not, but, you know, could be something else. And they still have another blocker, so they can still... Like, they can still just hold back the Delver and block. Oh man, now it's a pretty unfortunate race. Although every time they block, I do gain a life. Yep, takes me to 4. Yep. Alright. Assassin's Trophy is good. I mean, I can force them to have it here, I guess, is the answer. Like, you force them to have it. You know, if they have Submerge or whatever, like, maybe I lose. But let's force them to have it. Alright, it's a good one. So, lost one to Blue-Red Delver, took one from Blue-Red Delver. Yeah, it's good. Oh, quick one. Alright, let's do this. So, 1-1 going into game 3. Ooh, I feel like I've recognized this person's name, but I don't remember what they play. Hand's a little dicey, because I sort of need a couple things off of the once. I need a land, but I think this is okay. I mean, it, you know, I think you sort of hope this isn't like some sort of combo matchup. Alright, so let's see what I draw with Once Upon a Time. Bunch of lands. Seems okay. I might grab... So I'm going to suspend the Gargadon turn 1, so I'll probably play on non-basic. So I'll probably take the Verdant. Yeah, seems okay. So I'll just play a bad land and suspend the Greater Gargadon. Alright, let's see what my opponent's got. I feel like I do... Okay, I was going to say, I hope this is not Doomsday. Like, I feel like this is a Doomsday pilot, but maybe I'm confusing this with somebody else. Once Upon a Time, obviously, not a Doomsday. Okay, Mother of Runes off of Once Upon a Time. This is looking like Maverick. And that is perfectly fine. Maverick is a tough matchup, but It's not the worst. I might bolt the Mother of Runes here because I don't have a ton of outs against that. I do have one Plague Engineer in the main deck, but yeah, I'll probably just bolt the Mother. And we'll see what my opponent's got. Kind of a dicey mana base here. Alright, so Grist is pretty good here. Maverick doesn't run any haste creatures, so I think Grist is pretty good here. I might fetch a basic forest here. Maverick obviously runs a bunch of land destruction, so I think I'll do that, and I'll play out the Bayou. I mean, I'm sort of inviting a little bit of destruction, but I think that's okay because I have the Ruination Rioter, and I can sacrifice them to Gargadon if they have any shenanigans. So I'm going to just start getting creatures online. Once upon a time. Sounds fine to me. This reveals, by the way, if they... Okay. Sometimes that's relevant with Cabal Therapy, but probably won't be in this case. I'm sort of sweating a... like a Knight of the Reliquary here. I guess I have Grist to just take out Knight of the Reliquary if they go that route. Alright, that's fine. So I will fetch a basic swamp, I think, because I have this to fetch the mountain. Veteran Explorer is a good draw. I think that's probably the... I might try to double spell and like play Ruination Rioter and Veteran Explorer. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to get in with the token first. So I'll play the land, play the vet, and play the Ruination Rioter, which will probably have to get read by my opponent. They're just F6ing. So yeah, this is okay. I can't F6 now because I have Greater Gargadon. I have to like... Oh, that is a problem. I guess it's not a big problem. Yeah, I mean... so I can do a thing here. So I can... they're going to investigate, but I'm going to crack my fetch, and I'm going to sack my Ruination Rioter and kill the Tireless Tracker. Cool, so I will get the Snow-Covered Mountain, and then I will sacrifice the Ruination Rioter. And it'll kill the Tireless Tracker unless they have some shenanigans. They could, like, you know, evoke Endurance there or something, you know. I let them get a clue, but they only get one. I'm not letting them get the second clue here. Oh, my opponent just scooped it up. Alright. Okay. Cool. That's good. Maverick, I think, should be a pretty good matchup for this deck. I don't know whether you bring in like Magus of the Moon against Maverick. That's a good question. Plague Engineer is for sure, along with Pernicious Deed, especially if I've seen Mother of Runes. Like, you sort of have to have that. Endurance seems good against any Knight of the Reliquary deck. I didn't see any... you know, I'm not sure what flavor of Maverick they're on. They could be just green-white. They could be splashing black or red or something. I think Veils are probably out, at least so far. And then, you know, I could see myself maybe bringing in 2 Maguses, but I'm not sure. Collector Ouphe, you know, I'm not sure whether they're running equipment, but I think that card could be good in this matchup. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah. I think without being sure, I might cut it for now and bring it back in. Grist is good. I don't think I want to go all in on Endurances, but I think Endurance is probably pretty good in this matchup because it just shrinks a Knight of the Reliquary back to 2. There's one thing you can do is like bolt a Knight of the Reliquary and then Endurance and shrink it, and they can't respond. There's nothing they can do to hit that. I definitely want the Plagues because they're running Thalias, they're running Moms, they're running Noble Hierarchs. All of those just die to Plague Engineer. They typically run 2 to 4 basics, so I think Veteran Explorer is still good here. They are a Swords to Plowshares deck, so something like Terror the Peaks. I mean, they'd have to pay 3 life to do it. It may not be the worst. They probably run their own Questing Beast. They are a Karakas deck, so that's probably enough to cut the Questing Beast for Pernicious Deed. 1 minute. I need Ruination Rioter to hold the ground. This matchup, I think, can go a little bit on the longer end, so I might cut a Sylvan, but I don't want to cut both. And I think I am hesitant to cut Sarkhan, because sometimes you can just take a huge Knight of the Reliquary and just kill him. So I want to sort of try that. I might go like this and leave out the Maguses for now. This could be wrong. Like, I don't really know. Yeah, I think I like Terror of the Peaks because they don't have a ton of ways to interact. Like, yeah, they have Swords to Plowshares, but you might just be able to kill them with the combo or something. This hand looks great. It's got Cabal Therapy on turn 1, off of a non-basic, which could be a problem. I do have a Once Upon a Time, but this is definitely a keep. We'll see what my opponent's got here. Mother of Runes would be pretty good. Yeah, alright, so this is going to be Abzan Maverick, which seems okay. Bolt's a good draw. I'm going to cast Once Upon a Time here. The Scooze is pretty good. I think I already have 3 lands, so I think I don't need to grab the land. I could probably grab the Scooze, and I'll just bolt the Mother. That's probably the play here. Yep. So, yep, this is pretty good. I don't mind that at all. So this is Abzan Maverick. So typically they splash for Plague Engineers and or Abrupt Decays. Okay. This is normally a sideboard card in Maverick. So they brought it in. It's usually for combo matchups, but maybe they just don't really know what I'm doing, which is fair, right? Like, I showed them sort of weird stuff in game 1, so they might have brought in Thoughtseizes to try to like understand and play more optimally. So that's not crazy. Oh, that's a dicey one. So I think I definitely want to play Cabal Therapy here over playing Scavenging Ooze. Swords to Plowshares is a good name. Knight of the Reliquary would be a good name, but like they can't cast Knight next turn, so I'm more apt to play this naming Swords to Plowshares right now because that's a card that they can cast. Yeah, so I'll probably just get a Bayou and Cabal Therapy them. And Swords to Plowshares is my name. And we'll see what's going on. So nothing. They have a Wasteland. That's a problem. Yep. Okay. So they have Assassin's Trophy. They have Grist. They have Green Sun Zenith. I can flash back this Gavin. I don't think I want to do that. I think you just play out the Scooze and hope you get something going on. I think this is my play. I don't think I'm gonna flash back anything. Hope to dodge a land here. Okay, that's, I guess, so next turn, I guess they can Assassin's Trophy this right now, or they can Green Sun for 1. They can Grist next turn, which is a problem. Oh, they got their own Scooze. Alright. Okay, so I do need to draw something here. Forest is okay. It lets me play Endurance. There's a creature in the graveyard. So the other option I could do is eat the creature right now. They're probably going to eat my Cabal Therapy, which is fine. I don't think I really care. I guess I can flash back the Scooze, but I don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't. Grist is a problem. Um, Grist is a problem. I think what you do here is I'm just gonna pass and go for like an endurance blowout or something, because they sort of have to do things now. They do have 4 mana. They can green sun for 3. All right. Yeah, that's fine. For a knight or something. Grist is already in their hand. Ramanap. Oh man, that's a problem. That was bad. Okay. Yeah, that's real bad. That was definitely a mistake. Regardless, I think I definitely endurance now. Yeah. And I'm gonna hit their graveyard. Land to fetch a basic would be very good. I don't want to play my Grist before their Grist, so here I'm gonna eat their wasteland. All right. So that's fine. I mean, it's not fine. It's not good, but it's okay. So I think here the thing to do is, I guess I've already destroyed their graveyard. There are no creatures around, so I think you just yeah, it's not good. It's not good. All right. Yeah, I think I just hold up. I guess I can swing with the endurance and offer a trade with the Ramanap, but then they're gonna get me on the crackback. So, and I guess they're killing something anyway with Grist. So I think you do this now, and you know, if they choose to trade, that's fine. So they've successfully been able to limit my land, which is bad. But now Grist is gonna get them online pretty quickly. Yep. Sure. It's possible I should have like sacrificed the endurance to hit the Grist, because Grist is a big problem. They still have an Assassin's Trophy. I guess they played a land already for turn. So I'm not blocking here. I'm just going to eat that at the end of turn. But yeah, I'm definitely in a little bit of trouble here. It's not the worst. It's not helpful because I need a swamp, but it's not the worst. So, I don't think... I guess I just swing at Grist, but there's definitely trouble. I mean, they're blocking with probably the insect or something, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, not a ton of options here. So I eat that right now. Basically, I'm just stopping them from getting value off of this Ramunap. I'm keeping the Ramunap as a 2/3 as much as I can. They have an Assassin's Trophy, but I think they know if they use that, I have black. Yeah, they can eat my yard, that's fine. This matchup could conceivably go long. I'm just sort of trying to prevent them from getting value off the Ramunap. Although they can get value off of it with the Grist. So they can play that now, yeah. Which is fine. My graveyard is not particularly relevant. I do not know what this does. Target permanent you control gains protection from instant spells and from sorcery spells until end of turn. Okay, that's pretty cool. And it's a 1/2. Play around the Plague Engineer. That's kind of cool. I kind of dig that. I kind of dig that. Okay, so I can't play Sarkhan here. And Grist can destroy Sarkhan, so I do have to be a little careful. But I think you just keep swinging in with the Endurance. Eventually they're just going to sacrifice something to kill it. Like they can tick down Grist, and there's not a ton I can do there. This is interesting. It protects target permanent. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so they're going to AT me here, and I will lose the battle against Scavenging Ooze, but I will pass the turn, and they're probably going to try to scooze it here. Yeah, so there's no point in trying to win this battle. Yeah, there's no winning this battle, like, because they have a ton of mana. So Scooze gets bigger. Nothing I can do there. This is gone. Alright, so that's fine. Okay. So I can, like, play Grist, kill their Grist. It's not a very good play. I can kill the insects. Knight of the Reliquary is definitely a problem. And I take 5, which is trouble. So my options here are not amazing. Verdant's a good draw. I can Cabal Therapy them. I can take the Knight of the Reliquary. It doesn't do a lot. I could take... Yeah, taking the Ramanap doesn't do anything. Yeah. It's not that good. The Plague Engineer can kill insects, but then it will probably die next turn. Notably, the Devoted Caretaker can protect them. Protect them from everything that's a spell, but that probably doesn't help them that much. This is trouble. Plague Engineer is probably not the worst name. I'll probably name Insect, because human doesn't kill anything. Insect at least kills something. Yeah, that's better than nothing, I guess. I might Cabal Therapy here and see what my opponent's got going on in their hand. My bet is they have Swords to Plowshares, and so okay. I think they would Swords to Plowshares if they had it, so I think they don't have it. So as a result, I'm gonna name, I think Plague Engineer or Abrupt Decay are probably good names here. I'm gonna name Abrupt Decay, because I think if they had swords, they're using it. So they have something else. Okay, they got a Blast Zone. That's whatever. Cool. So I'm gonna fetch another basic swamp so that I can cast Plague Engineer, naming Insect, and start getting things going, I guess. Actually. It's not very good, but if they don't choose to tick down the Grist here, which they might, yeah, they almost certainly will. They'll probably use it to kill the Plague Engineer, which is okay. But I'm going to attack Grist because there's nothing they can do here. I mean, they have to chump, or they just take 3 on Grist. Grist now has enough to not be dead. Pretty unfortunate. So I sort of Okay, they're just eating my yard here. I've got to save time. I'm behind by 4 minutes here. But yeah, I'm going to just 6 here through the turn, but this is going to be a painful turn, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they can just, oh no, if they grist and sacrifice something, that won't kill me. Okay, Blast Zone's pretty good. You can tick up to 3, but you have a bunch of 3s as well. Knight's pretty good. Okay, no attacks from my opponent. Seems pretty good. Dryad Arbor's a terrible draw. So I can like... I don't have a ton of good options here. I think the best thing here is blow up the Grist. The other option is blow up the Knight, but I think you blow up the Grist here. And I'm going to blow it up off the Dryad Arbor. So I'm going to play Dryad Arbor, play Grist. We'll tap like this. And I'm going to tick down and destroy their Grist. And I'm just going to 6 here. The Scooze gets fed by the oh, and actually, interestingly enough, their own Grist can feed the Scooze. Although a big Scooze means a big steal with Sarkhan sometimes. Yep. Let's see what my opponent's got going on here. Okay, probably just drawing a card. Yep. They can tick the Blast Zone up to whatever they want. I guess my exile zone doesn't matter. So my opponent might consider like a big attack here to try to get to kill the Grist. So we'll see what happens there. Oh man. Ramanap plus Horizon Canopy. It's old school Maverick tech right there. Nothing I can do about that. This game is almost over. Actually, I think this game is just over. I think it's just, this game's over. Let's see what my opponent does. Yeah, this is pretty rough. I'm going to concede here because I think it's over. Oh, Grist the Hunger Tide is being attacked by the Knights. I'm going to just let him through. I'm not blocking here, but if I don't draw something here, I'm just going to concede. And they have the Devoted. Oh, he's not up actually because they've tapped all their white. Let's see, can Vivian Monster's Advocate do anything here for me? I have my Planeswalkers. I could take a Knight. I don't think that does anything. I can... Vivian? See, if I had Greater Gargadon here, like I would have a play. But I think I'm just dead. Like, yeah, they just swing in with everything next turn. I can steal something, but that doesn't accomplish anything here. So I think I'm just dead. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm gonna concede. All right, save time for game 3. Cool. All right, so let's see what I got going on. Terror of the Peaks, I think, like, you know, if I had a Greater Gargadon and suspend there, you play the Vivian, you tick down to -2, you sack your stuff, cast the Gargadon, get Terror of the Peaks, and kill him, or almost kill him. Like, that's a pretty good turn. But, yeah, as it was, I don't think that was quite good enough. All right, I'm considering the Maguses. I didn't see any equipment, so I think taking out the Collector Ouphe is a good call. I think these are okay to leave in exile. Magus seems okay. They probably don't have any black at all. If they, like, I guess they probably have Bird of Paradise, but they probably don't have a basic swamp. That's my guess. I think all these things are good. Sarkhan feels a little weak. I'm gonna cut Sarkhan for Magus. Forces them to like bolt that thing. I think I want all my combo pieces. I want the plagues. I want the endurance. I want at least 2 endurances. Grist, Pernicious Deed. Ruination Rioter seems good. Scooze. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I think I want the other Magus, but I don't know what to cut here. Maybe it's a Rioter. I could see this going late though. No, because they have Scooze, and they probably have Endurance, so maybe Ruination Rioter is not the best. I'm gonna go like that. This could be wrong again, but let's see how this goes. All right. This is sort of like all in on the Field of the Dead plan. I think it's okay. I think this is okay, actually. I'm going to lead on Cabal Therapy here. You got to basically make sure that Veteran Explorer doesn't get forced. And I think this is pretty good. I'm going to keep this. Like, it's a little all in on the field plan, but like, this almost has field online. So I think this is okay. It has at least a game plan. It's a weird one, but it has a game plan. So I'm going to fetch basics here. And I'm going to Cabal Therapy. So Green Sun, I think, is probably the best name here. Because that's a lot of their best hands keep that card. Alright, that's a hit. Oh, double Mother of Runes. That's a problem. But that's okay. So they're going to play Mother of Runes out. I don't think I care. That is a fantastic draw for me. The Green Sun Zenith, that is. Okay. So this now has a very concrete game plan, which is get Greater Gargadon into suspend, and then fetch out what do you call it? Fetch out Titania. That's the plan. But I think to do that, I think what I'm going to do is hit Endurance this turn. So I think that's going to be my plan. And so to do that, do I want to hit the Endurance or do I want to hit the Assassin's Trophy? Hitting the Assassin's Trophy is not terrible. And they have the Bog. So I got to do it this turn. I can't wait. So I think I'm not hitting the Mother of Runes. The Assassin's Trophy I think is good, and the Endurance is pretty good. They can, I guess, pitch the Endurance here. Well, they're doing it. Wow. Oh, okay. That's surprising. What did they exile? Sylvan Safekeeper? Okay. I mean, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm going to suspend Greater Gargadon next turn, and if they don't have Swords to Plowshares, like, that's okay. Hope that they don't. I guess I still have a plan even if they do, but it interacts with me pretty good. I guess, yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, I know what they got. Assassin's Trophy is very good, but I think the play here is Gargadon. So I can't do it this turn. I mean, I can suspend the Gargadon this turn, but so this can't be responded to, and now they just don't. They can't do anything here. I mean, they can't Swords the Veteran Explorer because I can still sack it to Gargadon. So I can't fetch out Titania next turn, which would be almost lethal. Guess we'll see what they got going on. Green Sun for 1, sure. What is this going to be? Bird of Paradise, sure. So those are their two cards. I wonder why they're not playing the Verdant. Oh, maybe I missed this. Maybe they did play the Verdant. Okay. Okay, so I can't use these against their creatures. And I want to save this. So I think the answer here is just play the field and pass. Because I want the green sun for Titania next turn. So I think I just play this out, pass the turn. And if they Assassin's Trophy it, so be it. Like, that's fine. It's not ideal. I like it, but okay. Cool. Oh man. So here's the question. Do I go for Titania this turn? Or do I blow up the mothers and I mean that's just gonna hurt them so much. It's a question, like, you know, what do I do here? I think I can wait. I think I can wait and I can Plague Engineer and then go for Titania like next turn. I think it's just so strong and it clears the way without having to like go all in, sacrificing all my lands. And I don't actually have that many lands. I guess I'll have 6 after Veteran Explorer. This was not the card they were hoping that I played. So I'm going to name Human. And swing in here. So they might consider Assassin's Trophying here. They have an opposition agent. Okay. That's real bad for me. Or maybe it's actually not that bad. So if they're casting it here, which by the way, I'm really glad I did it in this way. Otherwise, like if I sacrifice the Veteran Explorer and go for it and they have opposition agent, I just get blown out. So I'm going to sack the Veteran Explorer here. And I'll get an Abrupt Decay and kill it. So I'm going to get a swamp and a forest, or a mountain rather. Yep. And I'll Abrupt Decay that thing. Cool. All right. Now the question is, do I do it now? I think it's safe. The Sylvan Safekeeper is in exile. It is. So I think it's safe. So I want to now very much play around opposition agent. This was not a card I was expecting out of their sideboard. I presume it's a sideboard card. This was, I'm really glad I played it this way. Like, that could have been a blowout. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna let that go. Oh, shoot. I let them get a basic land. Oh my god. All I needed to do was Abrupt Decay. Opposition Agent. It's even a card that I played before. No. That was dumb. Alright. Well, I'm going to sheepishly Abrupt Decay that thing now. Oh, shoot. And now I can't get Titania online. Oh no, this is really bad. Alright. Well, things just got worse for me. Due to my horrible punt. I didn't even sacrifice it to Gargadon. Like, man, I'm getting bad. It's bad. That's okay. All right, I have Terror of the Peaks. Terror of the Peaks is good. I guess hope my opponent doesn't draw one of their 4 Swords to Plowshares here. I really screwed that up. Man. I really screwed that up. I guess I shouldn't. I'm going to turn off auto yields here. Because whatever I assume they're going to Swords to Plowshares something. And I'm going to sacrifice it to Gargadon. Man, I misplayed that so badly. Oh well, okay, gotta get over it, gotta focus on the game. All I had to do was Abrupt Decay the opposition agent in response. Man, shoot. Oh well. So they kept one extra. Hushbringer, creatures entering the battlefield or dying don't cause abilities to trigger. That is okay, I think. I mean, it stops this, but I can Assassin's Trophy that thing. It's an odd card out of Maverick. Oh, they are Assassin's Trophying that thing. Okay, so they paid the 3 life, so I'm gonna just Gargadon it. Oh, versus getting the land. I don't think the land does anything now. I mean, I guess I could still, it's still good to get Titania, but okay. Okay. So I have a couple options here. I have to save the Assassin's Trophy for the Hushbringer, but I'm gonna swing first. I have to be very mindful of my opponent's life total here. Okay, so if I play Veteran Explorer for 1, and then I play Assassin's Trophy for these 2, I fetch 2 lands. Yeah, that's not enough. Okay, so I'm going to just play the Veteran Explorer, and then end of turn, I'll Assassin's Trophy the Hushbringer. And I'm going to try to draw out like a Swords to Plowshares or something on that thing. Man, I punted so badly. I would have... This game would probably be just about over if I played that correctly. Maybe I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. I was like, oh, I've got him. But, yeah, oh well. So my plan here is end of turn, Assassin's Trophy, the Hushbringer. Yep, Hushbringer gains them a life. Alright, so let's Assassin's Trophy the Hushbringer. Hushbringer is a problem against me. I can just, like, cast the Gargadon and it's lethal. Like, Gargadon's lethal here. I guess they have the bird to block. Alright, cool. So I'll probably fetch the Gargadon. I'll probably sack the Veteran Explorer to Gargadon on my turn. Great draw. Cool. So I'm going to sack the Veteran Explorer. And I'll just sack it right now. Get the last 2 basics. And I'll Green Sun. I mean, I guess I'm going to Green Sun for Titania here. They could, if they had Opposition Agent, they would have used it there. So I think the Green Sun is safe. So I'm going to just go for it. And I can't leave up mana for. I guess if I return the Verdant, I can leave up Assassin's Trophy mana. So that's pretty good, I think. So let's do that. Okay, so let's get Titania. I'm going to get the Verdant over the Field of the Dead to save up the mana. If they plow it, I'm going to sack the lands and get at least a couple 5/3s. Okay, they just conceded. Sounds good. I'm glad I didn't lose to that pretty bad punt. So I got out of my horrible punt. So we're currently 2-3, or 2-1 rather. Beating Blue Red Delver once, losing to Blue Red Delver once, and beating Abzan Maverick. So cool. Yeah, this felt pretty good. The Maverick matchup felt pretty good. I'm very unfamiliar being on this side of that matchup. Okay, this is Goblin Lackey 1, who is almost certainly on Goblins. Cool. So I will definitely play. Cadern on probably Goblins. And I don't know, like we played a lot in the last week. That's why Goblin Lackey is sort of saying that. I think that I have to mulligan this hand. It's got lands, it's got threats, but like if they just go turn one Lackey, this hand does nothing. So I'm gonna mulligan this. This hand's better against them for sure. This is a keep. And what do I want to bottom? The Karakas is not terrible, but I think that that's the bottom here. I think I can just cast all the other things. I want the Karakas, but I think the other things are better. This can just kill an Ether Vial start. This can block a Lackey. This kills a Lackey. I think the Karakas is the bottom. Alright, so let's just go Mana Vet. So this is not what I've been playing against them, so they're probably a little they're all right with it, I guess. Yeah, I see things have changed. Yep. So I played quite a bit against this opponent on Dead Guy. Well, I'm gonna get the beats in here, and I'm gonna cast the Collector Ouphe and shut down that vial, because sometimes they keep like a one lander, and so I'm gonna do that. So that's my plan, and I'll just keep fetching basics. So, all right, they do have it. So like a munitions expert or something can actually, I guess munitions expert probably won't do it. So munitions expert's pretty good here, but I'm probably going to Cabal Therapy, because I mean, if they munitions expert or something, I can bolt it and then it fizzles it. So maybe I'll get the attack in first. Okay, so now I'm going to Cabal Therapy, and I think Goblin, what is it, Matron? I think Matron is a pretty good name here. Hit the Matron. They have a Creator Maker. They have 2 Slinging Lieutenants, and they have a Ringleader. So if I hit the 2 Slinging Lieutenants, they can play the Ringleader off of the mana that I'm going to give them. Makes me a little unhappy, but it might be okay. Yeah, or I hit the Ringleader. I think you hit the Slinging Lieutenant. Just getting 2 is so strong, but the Ringleader is going to refuel their hand. I think still getting the 2 is what I want to do. The other thing, I could like fetch something else other than Veteran Explorer. No, I want the Green Sun for something big. So let's hit the Slinging Lieutenant. And my opponent already has lands, so I'm gonna get a mountain. I can get a mountain with that thing. I'm gonna get a forest and I will get a mountain. The Creator Maker is gonna hit the Collector Ouphe, which I think is okay. We'll dismiss that. Slinging Lieutenant. Boom. So now the question is, what do I get? I can get a 3-drop. So I can get Grist, or I can get, I mean, Grist is probably the getting. I think Grist is really good here. I can at least bolt the Ringleader. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'll get Grist. Grist is kind of annoying for them and just starts ticking up and doing annoying things, and it can kill any creature that they have. Alright, so let's see what my opponent does here. I have nothing going on, so basically we need to dodge some Matron plus Muxus bullets, but they can Ringleader here and refuel. Okay. and they hit pretty good here. Man, that's trouble. Yeah, that's fine. Skirk Prospector, that's fine. Okay, Endurance is a pretty good draw here. I'm gonna tick up again, and I'm gonna swing with everything. Goblin War Marshal, that's, yeah, okay, I know what that one is. I'm gonna just pass here. So they can, if they Muxus, I probably just lose, but otherwise I have a blocker. They can play a Crater Maker. Yeah, I think it's okay. This can destroy a colorless permanent, or it can do 2 damage to a creature, so not a planeswalker, notably. Alright, so they played a Crater Maker. I assume they're playing the second Crater Maker. No, they're playing the War Marshal. Alright, that's fine. So I can block with Endurance. I'm going to put these, like, these cards seem good for me, so I'm going to put them back into my deck. They have to know that I have got something going on, but, you know, yep, they don't know what it is. They can sacrifice something to kill the, like, they can maybe, okay, so just the Ringleader. So I'm going to just play Endurance. And, you know, I guess they can, okay, yep. I guess if they have a Munitions Expert here, that's a problem. Alright. But I guess if they had a Munitions Expert, they could just kill Grist. Okay, they were attacking me, not Grist, so I think they're considering what to do here. There's the Munitions Expert. Sure. What are they hitting? They're just going to kill Grist? No, they're going to hit the Endurance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so there's nothing I can do here. Like, I can kill a Goblin, but then it still takes 5, so. And this is attacking me, right? Log USD. Yeah, okay, so that's attacking me. So, yep, Endurance is dead. That's fine. I'm not blocking. So I can hit the Crater Maker here, which I think is a pretty good hit. So I'm going to do that. I guess they can sacrifice another Goblin. They can sacrifice the War Marshal and then still hit something with it. So maybe that's not the play. I'm going to hold it back. I think they're planning on doing that and then, like, viling the Crater Maker. So I'm going to tick up first. I don't think there's any point to ticking down quite yet. I'll play the Library, and I'm holding up the Bolt, and I'm going to pass. I'm not going to, no attacks here. So I really need to hit the Plague Engineer. Okay, so my opponent ticked down for red. Yep. And they're going to do something with the Crater Maker here, probably hitting the Collector Ouphe. Yeah, that's no problem. Cool. Yep. Nothing I can do there. So here they're going to vial in the second Crater Maker. That's okay. So I can force them to sacrifice a Goblin to get value off of the Crater Maker. I feel like that's okay. I'm going to do that. So they can sacrifice a token to hit another creature for 2 or whatever, but, like, okay, so they just let it go. That's fine. So they can hit Grist pretty hard here, but, you know, I'm not I'm not overly worried about it. Okay, so they're swinging with everything. Okay, Grist is being attacked by everything. That's fine. I can block 3. Grist will be at 1. You know, if he dies, he dies. So I'm going to block the non-tokens. And I'll block like this. And then we'll see what happens. Grist takes 3, goes to 1. If they have something else, like, that's okay. Yeah, second Skirk Prospector. Alright, works for me. So I'm going to probably pay some life here. And hope to get something good. Veteran Explorer is an okay draw here. I don't hate that. Greater Gargadon's okay. It's not that good. I can flip over one of these with Grist to just clear the path. I put Field of the Dead back in. I don't know if Gargadon is that good. So I'm keeping the Veteran Explorer. The question is, do I keep the Gargadon or not? I don't think Karakas is that good, because if they get to Muxus, I'm dead. And the Sling Gangs are in the graveyard. Those are probably their 2 tick down my life total type things. I'm gonna keep it. Just get some things online. We'll tick up. Cast the Vet. Suspend the Gargadon. Pass the turn. Oh, my Plague Engineer is in the graveyard. I can't believe I flipped that thing. That's very unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Swinging with everything again at Grist. We'll see what happens. I will keep Grist alive, or I'll try to. If they... Which would involve jumping, basically. But I think I'm just dead if they have Muxus. Okay, just the 1. I'll double block it here. Or are they going to swing with everything? No attacks. Alright. Works for me. So now I get 3 new cards off of the Sylvan. Oh, these are all whiffs. So I don't want any of this. So I might just once to clear the way. And I'm going to put the Cabal Therapy into my graveyard with Grist. Alright, so that's pretty good. And let's once this way. Bunch of nothing. Wow. Alright. Cool. So I'm going to get this, because this can fetch a Dryad Arbor, I guess. Yep. And that's the plan. I'm going to just pass. I got nothing going on. This is not a matchup that I can afford to go that long. Rishad Import doesn't matter for the most part. Yeah, that's fine. Terror of the Peaks is good. Terror of the Peaks is real good. So we'll put these on top. And we will tick up. Actually, yeah, I'll tick. I think I have to fetch because I think I put my land on top. So I'll get the bad land because I need the red. We'll tick up. Man, all my key creatures are getting flipped from this. I probably should have actually played Terror of the Peaks and then ticked up, because then I could ping the Skirk Prospector. That was dumb. Oh well. That was a misplay. I could ping the Skirk Prospector. It's not that big of a deal, but now I turn my Grist into something that pings. Wasteland's fine. Let's see here. I will take it. Alright. This is now I'm in good shape. Okay. Okay. A good one. Yeah. With Gargadon ticking down and Terror, that's pretty good. Alright. So Maguses do nothing, these do nothing. Plague Engineer is good, Pernicious Deed is good. Thoughtseize is questionable, but not the worst. None of these do anything. Endurance is a consideration, but not amazing. Veteran Explorer is, like, they are a land denial deck, so I think that that's good. Ruination Rioter can sort of pick off a key creature, I think, so that's good. Sarkhan Volt, they don't have an important creature to take. Like, you know, their goblins all have synergy from being goblins, and they have a bunch of sack outlets, so I think Sarkhan Volt is bad here. I absolutely am running the Plague Engineer and the Pernicious Deed. Those are going to be two of my absolute best cards in this matchup. Scavenging Ooze can gain some life, but isn't actually that important. Collector Ouphe can sometimes shut off an Ether Vial for a little bit. I think that's worth keeping in. Questing Beast can, like, attack through all their creatures, so I think it's relevant here. Titania is probably not the best, but I think I'll still keep her in. Grist is not normally very good in this matchup. It was pretty good there, but, like, normally this matchup doesn't go, like when there's a board stall, there's a ton of creatures, you know, so like being able to board stall and sacrifice a creature and kill, like, a key creature. Goblins doesn't really have that many key creatures. It's probably not the worst card. Sylvan Library is probably worse, just because they can pressure your life total a lot, and so I'm probably not going to be able to pay life. And I think I'm going to leave these out. Endurance is good, but I don't think it's that important. I think I want to keep the curve low, and I think these are good cards. Terror of the Peaks, they have no flying blockers. Thing beats down. Yeah. Alright. I think this is okay. Should have just killed the Grist anyway. This hand is fantastic because it's got a turn 1 Veteran Explorer. If they kill it, it has an Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, okay, this is fine. Alright, so I'm gonna once first and then cast the vet. Okay, do I want Grist or do I want Greater Gargadon? I think Grist is going to be better in this matchup because of Plague Engineer. So I'm going to actually take the Grist and play the vet. And if they, like, Bolt or Munitions Expert the vet, I can Assassin's Trophy the Lackey to not take the hit. And I will take that line, because there's no way I'm letting a Goblin Lackey hit me. So, okay, my opponent is attacking. Well, I am definitely blocking. So my opponent probably has some 4-drop they really want. Taiga. Oh, is this like Food Chain Goblins or something? That's kind of spicy. So I'm definitely taking a swamp. I'm going to take a forest. Ringleader's fine. Oh, wow. Whiff. Oh, man. Oh, man. That's rough. Because I'm sure their deck is, like, more than half goblins. I don't know if I really want to play out the Grist right here. I'm sort of considering, like, playing a once and then holding back. Like, I think that's actually okay. Or, like, playing a once and then play a Dryad Arbor or something. Like, I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, I will reveal the Plague Engineer to them, but yeah, they're probably unhappy about that. I'm gonna play the Wooded Foothills just in case I have to fetch out something for Assassin's Trophy. So my opponent's gonna definitely be unhappy with the Plague Engineer. Pyrokinesis is on the bottom. Okay, so they do have a Rashad port now. They can tick down the black. Nothing I can do there. So there's a couple thought processes here. I might play out the Plague Engineer. It's not the best, but like it stops the other shenanigans they might have going on. If they play Muxus, I have nothing against that. I'm probably just dead to that. Yeah. Like, so they might be able to Muxus next turn, and if they do, I'm in big trouble. Although having one of these in play is better than nothing against Muxus. So we will name Goblin. But like if they have their whatever guy, yeah, we'll just pass turn here. There is the 2-mana goblin that, not that one, the 2-mana goblin that sacrifices to destroy a creature is the one that I'm worried about. So munitions expert, yeah, okay. So nothing I can do here. So they are pinging it, and I'll sacrifice it. So they had to play a goblin so that they had 2 goblins in play, because munition expert won't count in that matchup. All right, so my opponent is gonna swing. That's fine. All right, my opponent is fetching. They have 2 cards in hand. I think if they had Muxus, they play Muxus here. So I'm not gonna Abrupt Decay here or anything. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I Cabal Therapy here quite yet. I think I play out a Dryad Arbor, and I think I play out the. I guess I could play out like a Grist. No. I think you just play this out. And I'll name Goblin again. Pyrokinesis or Fury maybe are considerations, but so let's see what my opponent does. Okay, no effects. That's pretty good. And I'm not gonna Assassin's Trophy. That is a very, very good card. I'm gonna play it now, actually. And we will just tick up here. And I'm gonna get a Vigilance counter. And I'm gonna just pass here. So in a turn or two, like I can Greater Gargadon, sack a bunch of stuff, tick her down 2, probably just end the game. And my opponent would be in big trouble. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna play the veteran. I can play Grist. I think Grist is okay here. I can fetch out more lands. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Slinging Lieutenant seems like a pretty good name here off of Cabal Therapy. Yeah, let's start with that. Actually, I'm going to start with just a tick up here. And I'll probably go for like more of a win next turn. Okay, so I'm going to Cabal Therapy here. I'm going to name Slinging Lieutenant. And we'll see what my opponent's got going on. So Sharpshooter, Lackey, and Prospector, all of which are dead. I'm going to cast the Vet off the top. Okay, Green Sun is a fantastic draw for next turn. I can't cast the Grist here unless I sacrifice Veteran Explorer. So my opponent has literally nothing going on. So I might just get the beats in here. And I'll probably even attack with the Dryad Arbor. Yeah, let's do that. And there's no point to flashing back anything, because I don't think I don't need to, basically, is the answer. So I'll just play a Veteran Explorer, pass the turn. And next turn, I think I'm going to go for it. Munitions Expert is okay. So they're going to try to hit the... Yeah, they'll hit that, which is okay. It's not ideal, but... actually, so I do have a play here, actually. So I can sacrifice Veteran Explorer. I'm going to do the play, just because it's fancy. I do have a swamp. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to sacrifice Veteran Explorer. And I'm going to kill, like, the ringleader or something. I'll get a swamp and a forest. And then I will hit the ringleader. Okay. All right. So good to get a win against Goblins. Cool. All right. So I'm 3-1 here now. Deck feels pretty good. I mean, I did get sort of blown out by Delver in match 1, but overall, this, you know, the deck has felt pretty good. And this is sort of just how my practice leagues went too. You know, my practice leagues were pretty favorable. You know, I think my worst league I won 3 matches, so this is going pretty good. Normally, like, Nic Fit against Goblins can go a couple different ways, but you know, this is sort of what you have Plague Engineers for. This matchup without them is very hard, because if they play a Muxus, you're probably losing. Okay, into play. I don't know what this person plays, and I am on the draw. I have no green mana and no way to get green mana. This, unfortunately, if this was like a forest, like this is a keep, but as it is, I think this is a mulligan. This is better. I'll keep this. This is okay. What do I want to bottom? The Rioter, or... I'll probably bottom the Rioter. Yeah, just because I'll have no lands in the graveyard. So I think that's what I'm bottoming. Alright, let's see what my opponent's got. Okay, they're on some sort of... Oh, elves. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, elves and no turn 1 play. That's weird. Okay. Well, let's cast this. Okay. I'll take the Ruination Rioter. Elf with no turn 1 play, and elves doesn't typically run this. So what is this? I have no idea what this is. Elf. That's a weird one. I mean, I guess I'm going to name Green Sun Zenith off of this. Yeah, I'm going to just name Green Sun Zenith. It's a weird one. I don't know what this is. Elf. Okay. Elvish Rejuvenator. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. So this is Cloudpost. Okay, that's fine. Oh, and they're casting a Rejuvenator. Sure. Let's see what they get here. Probably try to hit a Cloudpost. Oh man, they are going to be super close. Oh, I guess this was the Ancient Tomb that they played. Okay. They're still very close to already casting Primeval Titan. Man, this deck goes fast. And if I cast the Veteran Explorer, I'm going to almost give them the mana for it. But I think I gotta do it. I think I gotta do it. Man, okay, so I'm gonna cast Veteran Explorer. We'll Flashback Therapy. Gives them some forests. Who knows? They've got to have forests in their deck. They got to have forests. Alright, so I'll grab a mountain and a forest. And I'm going to name Primeval Titan. Yep. Alright, so Primeval Titan. Okay. That's a hit, but now, I mean, they're already like kind of close to Kozilek, 10 mana. They'll need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think they have it in 2 turns. Jeez. Okay, so I need to get Sylvan Library going immediately. And I don't even know what I need. I need like a Cabal Therapy to hit Kozilek the Butcher of Truth. Yeah, because they're just going to have... They're almost there already. So they're going for Rejuvenator. Sure. Let's see what they hit here. Okay. So yeah, next turn they have Kozilek mana. They played that. So I need a Cabal Therapy here. Chalice on 1. Oh wow. Great name. Great name. I guess I still have Abrupt Decay if I need it. But then, yeah. So I still need a Cabal Therapy here. Otherwise, I think we're into scoop territory. Ooh. Okay. Kozilek doesn't end the game immediately, I guess, is the answer. Boy, I'm in trouble. I'm going to... yeah, okay. So I'll pay 4 just to dig here. And then I'm going to cast the Vivian. And we'll just generate a 3/3, I guess. And I'll put on a Vigilance counter. And I'm in big trouble here. I don't have a ton of options. I'm in huge trouble. Yeah. Man. Alright. Okay, here it is. Kozilek. Draw a bunch of cards. Probably lose the game. Alright, you got it. So I'm about to lose the game, but like there are conceivable ways to like win this, but it's looking pretty dicey. I'm gonna be honest. Sure. I guess they can name Vivian. I guess I can Abrupt Decay it, but I'm still in just huge trouble. I think it's just about time to scoop it up. Annihilator 4 will end this game real fast. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Yeah, so I do nothing here. I get Annihilator forward, and then I have to block a bunch of things. Yeah, this is still crap. And, you know, casting a Ruination Rioter or a Cabal or a Collector Ouphe into Vivian doesn't really do anything. Okay. I think I'm just gonna dig and dig and dig and dig as much as I can. But yeah, I'm in massive trouble. This will at least like does something. Cool. I can't do that, so I'm going to Abrupt Decay this first. Tick up, get another Vigilance counter person. Play the Collector Ouphe and play a Ruination Rioter. I think that's okay. Ruination Rioter does absolutely nothing. Let's see, red, green. I guess after I sacrifice some lands, maybe it will do something. And I have to chump the... Yeah, alright, I'm not attacking. So Kozilek is probably the one of those that I fear the least. Alright, so let's see what my opponent's got. If they have like, if they reveal another Eldrazi Titan, I'll probably scoop it up here. Okay, yeah, Glimmer Post is fine. Because next turn I do blow up the Kozilek at least. They can fetch an Eldrazi Titan here, but I still get a draw step, which is something at least. Okay, so Annihilator 4. Cool. So losing one of these, losing one of these. I guess these are vigilance counters. Yeah, maybe I'll lose the Ruination Rioter. Yeah, maybe I'll just lose all my creatures. I don't know if they matter that much. I might lose a land, and then that way I'll ping a Elvish Rejuvenator or something. Alright, so let's do that. Hit this guy. Yes, and then I'll block the creature. He's attacking me. No, he's attacking Vivian. Alright, well, I don't want to let Vivian die. Okay, so my opponent here... Oh man. I think this game is just about over. So they can still... Glacial Chasm, okay. Alright. Yep. Okay, well, I mean, you play the Scoos and just see what you can do. Yeah, I mean, I'll go to 3, I guess. Alright. I'll get a Vigilance counter. So I'm going to Assassin's Trophy this guy. Actually, maybe I'll wait till they decide what they're doing for their turn. Okay, so they're going to get some Eldrazi Titan. And I probably just... It's probably enough to scoop there. Yeah, alright. There's no beating that. They can cast it, right? They have 4 posts. So 4, 8, 12. Yeah, this is concession time. Alright. We will just go to game 2. That's fine. Let's see if I can do better. So Magus of the Moons, this is what you want them for in this matchup. They are real good. I don't think the Plague Engineers are that important. Surgical, you can sometimes... Like, if I were running Land Destruction, I would consider Surgical, but I'm not. I don't even think Pernicious Deed interacts with them that much. I guess they have sort of some, like... They had, like, a... whatever, Sorcerer's Spyglass. I would consider it against that. I don't know if it's that good, though. They had a Chalice. So... Maybe that's okay. I definitely want Sarkhan in this matchup, 100%. I think Plague Engineer is okay. It's not very good. I definitely want Sylvan Libraries because, like, picking things is important. I think I can cut 2 or maybe even 3 Veteran Explorers. Just keep 1. Because giving them land is a huge risk, especially giving them basics if I'm going onto the Magus of the Moon plan. So I think that's part of my plan. I don't know if I want Plague Engineers for those elves. It does kill them. But, you know, all it does is clear the way for blockers, I guess. I don't know if they're running Reclaimers. They're definitely running Eldrazi Titan. I think I want the Abrupt Decays. I think I want the Sylvans. Scavenging Ooze is just okay, but it does beat down. Questing Beast can turn the corner. I want the combo pieces. So all those are pretty good, I think. Ruination Rioter, I think I want that. Maybe Pernicious Deed is not that important. Maybe I'll keep Pernicious Deed out. Yeah, maybe I'll keep Pernicious Deed out. Do I want it over Plague Engineer? I probably want Plague Engineer, and I'll keep Endurance. I'll keep the 1 Endurance, but I don't think I need more Endurances. Thoughtseize is not bad. Maybe I'll cut the Plague Engineer for a Thoughtseize. That might be okay. 40 seconds. Like, Thoughtseize can just shut down this deck sometimes. But they are running Chalices, so maybe I don't want a bunch of Thoughtseizes. I'm going to go for the middle ground and just have 1 Thoughtseize. Alright, that's what we're doing. Let's go with this. Alright. Okay. Well, it's a Magus start. Let's do it. Let's see what my opponent's got. So I'm going to just play basics, like fetch basics, get Magus. That's the plan. Let's see what my opponent's got here. So I'll play Sylvan this turn, and then I'll play Magus of the Moon next turn. Thought-Knot Seers, okay. I'm going to fetch here, just to try to thin before I draw. Alright. Looks good. Let's go for the Sylvan. Cool. So I don't think this deck has a way to get to 4 on playing off of a forest, so I think I'm okay here. I don't think this is the one that's running like big artifacts or anything. Like the artifacts that tap for 3. Alright, so let's always yield here. Ooh, these are all pretty good. The problem with Titania in my hand is I'll need to get another basic in order to cast her if I cast Magus this turn. And I think I do want to cast Magus this turn. But I think I want all these cards. Yeah, I think I mean, I guess I'm not fetching, so I can save them on top. I think I'll take at least 1, and I'll just try to see more cards. I don't need the land. So I'll put that back, and I'll keep these 2. So I'll just play Taiga into Magus of the Moon. And this will hopefully keep my opponent off of Thought-Knot Seer mana, although they're going to get there next turn. Sure. I can cast Terror of the Peaks in 2 turns, but my opponent will have been able to cast Thought-Knot Seer before then. Sure. Let's see what they got going on. Alright. So Cabal Therapy would be good. It's a good draw. So I'll put this back. I think I definitely want Cabal Therapy for Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah. I don't think the Karakas actually will do anything here. So I might keep it just to thin my deck more. Or just to get through some cards. But yeah, so this is just a mountain. And I'll Cabal Therapy my opponent. And I'm going to try to hit that Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, hit a Thought-Knot. They got 2 prime times. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Okay, but I think I have outs here. Cool. So I'm going to get the beats in. I don't need to do it now. My opponent can Vesuva and cast Golos, which kind of sucks. I guess the Karakas doesn't do anything against that. I can take it with Sarkhan and sacrifice it, which I guess is a thing, to hit the prime times. That seems okay. 10. My opponent's still far from that. Yep. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm done paying life for now, but I want the black mana, I guess. Actually, I'm gonna just pay 4. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Because I do play a Terror of the Peaks in a turn, so we'll pay 4. And so the plan this turn is I'm going to play the Dryad Arbor, I'll play the Sarkhan, I'll take Golos, and I'll sacrifice him after attacking. Yep, good plan. Alright, so after damage, we sacrifice Golos, and I'll name Primeval Titan. Gotta stop those from hitting. Cool, and that's the turn. Elvish Rejuvenator is fine. So Forest would be a good draw for me, but I'm probably just playing the Terror of the Peaks next turn. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ew. Getting close. And Ulamog will destroy Sarkhan, so that would be a problem. Alright. Let's see what I got here. Collector Ouphe is not bad. I'll keep that. I'm not going to play it this turn, I don't think. But I might play it next turn. Cool. Yeah. So I think the plan here is just Terror of the Peaks, tick up, beat down. I think that's the plan. Yep. Alright, cool. So creatures I control. So this is quite an attack. Yeah, alright. So that's pretty good. And I guess I can lead back Magus of the Moon. If they want to trade both Rejuvenators for a Dryad Arbor, like, that's fine. But I want to make sure that they don't hit my Sarkhan. I gotta keep Sarkhan's health up. Okay. They are gonna trade, and that's fine. Cool. So next turn, I can play Collector Ouphe. It ticks into the Terror, and then attack with everything. Like, that's lethal. Okay, got him. It's a good one. So, again, the key there is Magus of the Moon. Card's good. We didn't really see too much, so I think the other Thoughtseize is probably good. Just, again, as I mentioned, against this deck, like, you can just kill him with just discard. And I think I'm going to cut the other Endurance, and I'll probably bring in the Thoughtseize, and I might bring in a Plague Engineer or two, just because it clears the blockers, which I think is kind of important. It's not super important, but it's good. So Sarkhan's good, Questing Beast is good. What do I cut? Grist it's a removal spell on a Green Sun Zenith. I think I got to keep that. Ruination Rioter can just win the game. It could... No, I gotta keep the Abrupt Decays in. Collector Ouphe can sometimes shut up like Expedition maps, so I'm gonna keep that in. It might be Lightning Bolt, actually. Like, there's nothing I'm bolting that's relevant. I think I'd rather have the Plagues over the bolts. Yeah, I think that's good. So go down to 1 vet. Yeah, I think this is fine. I wouldn't mind the Endurances in, just as like a creature that beats down, but I think it's better. Like, I basically, this matchup is get to Magus of the Moon and disrupt them with discard. Like that's my game plan. Maybe you can sneak a win sometimes with Sarkhan, but that's it. So I think this is my game plan. Let's do it. This hand's fantastic. Yeah, it's gonna run out of black mana, but it's good. I might actually flash back the Cabal. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This is definitely a keep, for sure. But the question is whether I want to flash back Cabal Therapy, and like use Green Sun to get the Veteran Explorer, because it's gonna ramp my opponent. Yeah, there are definitely question marks here. Well, hopefully they take a creature. I will hit that with Cabal Therapy. I guess I can 6 through this turn. There's nothing going on. Nothing I'm doing. My opponent has mulliganed to 6. They grab a Cloudpost. Alright. So, Elvish Rejuvenator's a good name. Veteran Explorers, or, yeah. Yeah, okay. I might cast this off of a Badland, because I can at least fetch a basic, because if I'm going to hit Magus, that's the plan here. Alright, so let's do that, and I'm going to name Elvish Rejuvenator. I guess Thought-Knot Seer is worth a consideration, but I think Elvish Rejuvenator is probably the card. Like a fast land start is probably what I fear the most. So I'm going to name Elvish Rejuvenator. A whiff. Alright. But okay, so that was what they drew for turn. That's fine. So I can Green Sun flashback Once Upon a Time. Kind of sucks. It'll give them a bunch of lands. They can cast Endurance this turn. Yeah, or they get Golos next turn. Yeah, man, it's a tough turn. They have a lot of mana. Alright, well. Oh man, they're gonna have so much mana. Golos, yeah, okay. I think I gotta take out the Golos. Like, card's a big threat. I gotta do something there. So I think I am gonna Green Sun for Veteran Explorer. This could lose me the game, is the answer. Like, yeah. So I'm going to get a swamp, and I'll get a forest again. I'll get the snow-covered forest. I'll probably just cast once at the end of their turn. But I'm going to name Golos here. They get to cast the Endurance, but I think that's fine. Alright, so Golos. Alright, and they can do their worst here, but I don't, they're going to cast Endurance and start the beatdown, but like they're not winning this game beating me with a 3-4, Like that's not winning this game. So I gotta just fade like a big Eldrazi or something this turn. And the next turn I have Magus online. Alright, let's see if I get anything. Just a swamp. Alright, that's fine. Magus is good. So I'm gonna cast it. So the other, yeah, I think that's the only thing worth it. You Magus. And we'll tap this one. So my opponent could have some sort of creature kill here. Okay. Yep, I'm just taking it. Plague Engineer is okay, I guess. Like, I could hit like an Elvish Rejuvenator. If they just draw Prime Time, I'm just dead. Alright. Yeah, I think you just Magus. You just play another Magus and play another Prime Time. And I'm gonna name Elf. If they have another Endurance, like I lose this Magus, that's fine. Let's see, they got 7 lands. Okay, so let's play this. We'll tap, 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 and tap, I guess. Because I have to tap 2 green. Alright, so we'll do this. That's fine. That's a fine draw. And I guess I'll just start getting in with the Plague Engineer. No, I'm going to leave it back because I got to protect her. And I'll get a Vigilance counter. Alright, so I think next turn I'll start attacking with the Plague Engineer. I gotta take out the Endurance. Okay, my opponent has many cards. I want to put a creature on top because I can cast it off the top. That's a good one. That is a great card. I'm gonna cast that because I can sacrifice a creature and like kill something. That's okay. I can't suspend it off the top. I have to pay the full amount. So I might Grist this away. Actually, I kind of want this. I think I want this because I think I can kill my opponent in a turn or two if that's what they have. So I think I'm going to keep this on top. And I'll just tick up, get a Vigilance counter, and maybe I'll sacrifice a beast. I'll sacrifice this beast to kill. Yeah. Sacrifice this thing, kill the Endurance. Thoughtseize my opponent. They've got nothing. Play this. Ticked up both of those. Start the beatdown. Alright, so I think if depending on what my opponent does, I think I can win next turn. Oh, they got something. Alright, Elvish Rejuvenator's fine. I think I have lethal here. Alright. Okay. I might have to sacrifice everything. But I guess that's a thing. Let's see what I get off the top. Magus of the Moon is okay. So the object here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh man, I'm too short. So I'd have to sacrifice 10 permanents to cast this thing. But I think that's okay. Like, I think that's okay. So I'm going to do this. And I got to make sure, yeah, nothing is in exile. I'm going to check my sideboard and make sure I didn't somehow, like, sideboard this card out. I didn't. So I can tick this down. So actually, let's do this. Suspend. Cool. Tick her down. -2. And then I have to sacrifice 10 permanents. And then, like, this is what my opponent's got. So I sacrifice this. I guess I'll just tap all these. Yeah, I'm just going to sacrifice all these. I have to sacrifice one of my creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll sacrifice one of the Maguses, I think. They have Glacial Chasm, so I have to keep that up, because otherwise Glacial Chasm will prevent them from dying. So I will sacrifice this, 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 this. Always yield. Cast. Fetch Terror of the Peaks. Resolves. Dome them for 9. Swing with the team. GG's. Got the GG from my opponent, so that's pretty cool. So I got a 4-1 here. That's pretty good. The deck felt pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. So I made a few changes off of Koike's lists. Koike had opposition agents, which I removed. They had the Valky Tybalt, who I removed. I don't know. I haven't loved Sarkhan, although Sarkhan was okay in some of the matchups that we just played. So I don't know. Like I really like Vivian. I kind of want to cut a Sarkhan for another Vivian or something like that. I could also see myself like removing, like cutting Endurance from the main deck and only having Endurance in the side. It's a good card, but like, yeah, I don't know. The deck felt pretty good overall. Like, I think the mana base is fine. I like the one drops. Like, I could see myself maybe going down on a Ruination Rioter. It didn't sort of do anything, or it didn't do a ton in many of the matchups here. It's been okay, so it's definitely not a bad card. It is possible I don't need the Endurance in the main deck if I already have Skoos. Yeah, I don't know. Or I could see myself going to one Sylvan. I do think Vivian's really good, and I think getting to two Vivians might be a good answer, but overall the deck felt pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure what other changes I would make. Overall the deck felt pretty good. Sideboard felt pretty good. The Maguses, which are not traditionally like a Nic Fit sideboard card, they've actually been okay. We saw that they were critical against Cloudpost there, but they're good in depths. They're good in the matchups against lands. Like, I think it's a pretty good card overall. I don't know. I'm not sure what changes I would make. I could see myself maybe trimming the Veils for something else, but Veils, if I played like a really hard control deck, I feel like, Veil would have shined. So, overall deck felt pretty good. I would love to make space for maybe another Vivian, but other than that, I think this list is looking pretty good as is. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you watched it. If you want to check out Nic Fit content, check out nicfitmtg.com, and make sure to keep playing some jank. All right. Have a good one.